What fool thing is Johnny doing now? Well, here we go. Lee Hacklin, private investigator in Sunset Clause, Chapter 5. Hank sat in one of my client chairs and linked his fingers together while I opened a fresh can of coffee. What a smell. Maybe there's something to aromatherapy after all. Hank said, Lee, I'm sure you're aware of the Santa Claus killer. Just what I read in the Times, I'm very sorry. 3 good men are dead, loyal members of the Pratt family. Dave White, Ron King, and Phil Jackson. Dave was the manager of our hardware department. Ron was one of our store detectives. Phil was our top shoe salesman. Dave was our Santa for the last 10 years. Corky grinned and said, There's an opening, Lulu. That's the one job you're qualified for, gender notwithstanding. Oh, I forgot you hate children. I hate you, Corky Pratt, as much as you love McDonald's, Lulu. Would you like fries with that? Yes, and I'll have everything else on the menu, please. And a Diet Coke, too. Lulu shook her fists at him and yelled, Menu is sexist. It should be people you. Hank rubbed his eyes and said, Kids, you're not exactly at your Sunday best right now. Okay, that's a hint. We're here for Dave, Ron, and Phil. We should be thinking about their wives and children. Admonished, Corky said, Sorry, Dad, while Lulu pouted. She fished out another Almond Joy. Type 2 diabetes was a hop, skip, and a jump away from this gal. Hank said, Last November, Dave was shot while going home from work. He was still in his Santa suit. Ron stepped up to the plate. A week later, he was having lunch at a Dairy Queen. Witnesses say a skinny white man in a ball cap and dark sunglasses came into the joint and shot him in the head. Courageously, brazenly, and or stupidly, Phil agreed to be our next Santa. I begged him to get a bulletproof vest, not that it would have helped Ron. He was shot at home last Friday morning while picking up his New York Times. 3 dead men, and the police have nothing to show for their investigation but goose eggs and tumbleweeds. I have copies of all the police reports and detailed biographies of all 3 men. He opened his briefcase, placed it on my desk, and handed me a thick file. I said, Thank you. This will save me a trip to NYPD HQ, home of the Lee Hacklin fan club. If that building was the Bat Cave, then I was the Joker, not to mention target practice for all the cops there who hated my guts, because the press tended to skewer them and laud lone wolves like me. It's funny how some people place blame on those who have nothing to do with why they're so angry. This might be our first Christmas without a Santa. That's unacceptable to me. My staff are scared, and so are my customers. Business is falling faster than Wile E. Coyote. Will you take the case? Sure. I told him my rates, and he wrote me a retainer check. He stood and we shook hands. Your reputation precedes you. I hope you live up to it. Justice will be served, or your money back. I could never say those last words without choking a little. Hank looked at his watch and said, It's almost noon. Would you like to join us for lunch? That sounds nice. Corky just couldn't help himself. Lee, you'd better order before Lulu does. By the time she finishes, there won't be any food left. And the strangling began anew. This time, I let Dad handle it. I'm no narcissist, but sometimes, and this was one of those times, when I meet new people, I'm reminded of just how awesome it is to be me. It's a first draft. Happy Saturday. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, God loves you. And so does Johnny. Cheers.